Moodz616 sucks fucking dick. What a fucking asshole, man. I met him at Wasteland. Fucking dickhead. Goddamn. Fuck him, man. Fuck. It looks.
A tisket, a tasket, a bloody basket. Cut his head and ate his leg. Now he's in a casket.
Yo, what's up everybody? It's your boy Moodz616 and thank you once again for stopping in for another random review. This is episode 9. Alrighty, for this episode, I'm going to be talking about a film from 2012 directed by Mark Ferrato. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. Probably butchering it. I'm actually familiar with this director. He did a film a few years earlier, I think in 2006, and it was called Zombies Anonymous, in which I actually did review on the podcast. It's a film that I didn't absolutely love. I like the idea of it. I thought the execution was just a little poorly done. But with that said, I didn't hate it. But I was curious to check out this film because I've been hearing nothing but good things about it. Midnight Releasing picked this one up and released it in 2014, which is last year. And it is called Hellfire. Like I said, there was a little bit of buzz about this one. I kept hearing some pretty decent things. So had me intrigued because, you know, but yeah, getting into the synopsis of this one here. Basically centers around 4 prostitutes, 4 hookers that kind of come together and rise up against their pimps. And what they want to do is they want to rob the shit out of them. Word on the streets is that these guys have just made a huge score and they're sitting on a big fat wad of cash. So the hookers come together, they get some guns, they invade this house, and they soon find out that that no one's giving up the goods. They're not talking. So they kind of take things into their own hands and they start executing like everybody in the house because they're pissed off that they can't find any cash or they're not getting any cash out of this deal. But they basically execute everybody in the house and they take one guy hostage because they're going to try and beat it out of him. So they take this guy like to upstate and into the secluded house where they soon find out that this guy that they actually abducted is actually the Antichrist. So that isn't really going to work out too well for them because what he's done now is he starts to possess the girls one by one and kind of putting them against each other, and all fucking hell breaks loose in this house after they start getting possessed. And yeah, you know what? I'll just leave the story right there. It's for you to find out the rest of it. Now my thoughts on this one. Right from the opening credits in this film, I was really intrigued by this film. I thought it was pretty interesting how the director kind of took this one. He gave the characters like an individuality already. He kind of introduced the characters by kind of giving, you know, their name, their alias, and a little bit of background with voiceover from the Antichrist. I really like that because, you know, there's a lot of, you know, a decent amount of characters in this film, and it was kind of nice to kind of give them a little bit of girth. You know, so they're not such thin characters. I thought that was a really interesting kind of premise to it. Now, at first I was like, okay, now the storyline's a little basic in this one. I'm not really too sure how this one's going to play out. But I have to say the script was really well done in this. There's a lot of really kind of unique and interesting dialogue that kind of kept it flowing at times. Not really a lot of down moments in this. There's a lot of build up, you know, into the second half of the film where shit kind of goes batshit crazy in this one. Which I really did like. You know, there was a lot of you know, kind of, not like biblical talk, but there's a lot of references to Jesus and Satan and things like that, but which are really kind of relevant to what happens in the second half of the film. You know, overall, really interesting. The pacing's actually pretty well done for a story like this, and like I said, the script's really well done. Now, one thing that really kept me intrigued about this film was the you know, the soundtrack in this film. I thought the soundtrack was fantastic. It was also shot really well. I'm not really too sure what they shot this film on. It's probably shot digitally, maybe with some effects after. I'm not 100% sure, but it looks interesting. It's kind of vibrant, almost with like a washed out kind of grindhouse feel to it. It looks very cool. I really liked how they did it. Now, with this film, I wasn't too sure if the effects and stuff were going to be CG'd in this. I was kind of getting worried about it until like the first little bit, you know, first little gore and blood and stuff happened. You know, but I wasn't disappointed. You know, I would say probably like 98% of the effects in this film are practical, which is really cool. There is a little bit of thrown in CG in places, which I thought was really odd and kind of misplaced. It's not it doesn't really take away a lot from those scenes because it's pretty minor. You could probably almost miss it if you just kind of, you know, blinked. So that was pretty interesting. It was very cool to see that it was all practical. Now, the overall acting in this film was really fantastic too. I thought the cast had a really good chemistry, to be honest. All the girls I thought did a really good job, but really the guy that steals the show in this film is J. Scott Green, who plays the Antichrist. Now, in my opinion, he kind of has like a Josh Brolin type Matthew McConaughey thing happening. He's kind of got those, his voice, his accent is very similar to Matthew McConaughey, and he really pulls off this Antichrist badassm, you know, personality quite well in this film. I thought it was executed really well. You know, really not a lot of bad things to say about this one. Like I said, the second half of this film goes batshit crazy. There's a lot of high octane like fight sequences with the demons, and I thought it was choreographed pretty well, shot well, edited well. The soundtrack was quite fitting. It wasn't like overly ridiculous, you know, but I think everything kind of went together really well in this film. It was a really huge surprise to me because I wasn't expecting a whole lot from it. You know, like I said, I heard good things, but I wasn't too sure about this. So, but yeah, it's just a really fun flick overall, and it does have some twists and turns towards the end. It kind of gets batshit crazy and just very cool for such a low budget film to kind of be executed like this. So, yeah, I can't say enough good things about Hellfire. Really, there's nothing to complain about too much in this one. But yeah, so that's Hellfire from 2012, released in 2014 by Midnight Releasings. Don't really want to give anything else away about it, but it is such a great watch. It's super entertaining, high octane. You can see a little bit of clips in the background right there, and that's all you're going to get. So you're going to have to definitely check this one out from Midnight Releasing. Purchase it. It's very inexpensive, and it's definitely worth the purchase because it's awesome stuff, man. Good practical effects. If you like demon type films with a little more pizzazz in there, a lot of story, good characters, check this one out. You'll definitely like it. So yeah, Hellfire, can't recommend it enough. It kind of even looks like Josh Brolin on the cover now when I look at it more. Kind of interesting. But if I had to rate this one, I'm going to give this one about a solid 8.5 out of 10. It's really entertaining. It runs just over 90 minutes, actually. Surprisingly, that was another thing that surprised me about the film. It runs over 90 minutes, and it really doesn't have a lot of downtime, and it's keeps you intrigued throughout the whole film, so that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. You know, that doesn't really happen a lot in indie films. You know, it does. It's hit and miss, so. But Hellfire, check it out, guys. Awesome flick. Can't recommend it enough. Really surprised the shit out of me. Yeah, I like the demons, man. It's awesome stuff, so. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for episode 9 here. I'll be back with another episode shortly. I got a bunch of stuff to review. Some more Midnight Releasing stuff, some Anchor Bay stuff, some other stuff that I'm going to be doing also. So stay tuned for those reviews, and I will check you later. Peace out, homies.